vinyl community, how you doing? It's Bill with the Vinylverse. Today's video I'm going to show what I grabbed at the Rock Expo that was in town over the weekend. It was a record show that I went to on Black Friday, so I opted not to go to Black Friday Record Store Day. So the record show was a lot of fun. I went by myself. But I had a few hours to spare that I could get away from my family and go to the record show. So let me show you what I got. The first 10 records here I found at the back of the expo floor. A vendor had some containers just on the floor that had hundreds of records that were 5 for $1. So I picked up 10, so that's 20 cents each, and I'm going to go through these pretty fast. So nothing crazy here, but just stuff to flesh out my collection or for trade or you know, whatnot. So the first is the U2 Wide Awake in America EP. Thought this was a pretty good grab for 20 cents. Next, Missing Persons mini LP. Missing Persons is definitely an interesting group. In the early 80s, of course, this has Words and Destination Unknown. They were two hits for them. But what really interests me in Missing Persons is the drummer, Terry Bozzio. Great drummer. And I think he was married to the singer, forget her name, Dale Bozzio, I think, or something like that. The Romantics in Heat. This one has the hit Talking in Your Sleep. So I don't have any Romantics, so I couldn't pass it up for 20 cents. For me, the find of this 10 records was Weird Al Yankovic in 3D. I spun this yesterday morning. Surprisingly, it was very clean. I just gave it a quick dry cleaning and played great. So for 20 cents, love having Weird Al. I don't have any of his in my collection on vinyl, but big fan of Weird Al. Seen him in concert several times. Another good find I thought was Donovan's Greatest Hits. So for 20 cents, you can't beat it. It's got the booklet intact. Carole King Tapestry. So 20 cents. Chicago 2. Cover's a little beat up on this one, but the vinyl's very clean. So again, I couldn't pass it up for 20 cents. Roberta Flack, First Take. I already have this, but the cover at least is an upgrade for me, and the vinyl looks very clean, so I think I'll probably end up keeping this one. So yeah, 20 cents, still in the shrink. Great find, I thought. Mike Oldfield, Tubular Bells. Again, the jacket is pretty beat and worn, but the vinyl looks really good. Never owned a copy of Tubular Bells, so happy to have it, especially for 20 cents. And then the last one I was real happy to find, Aretha's Gold. And this vinyl looks great. It looks like real clean. Looks like it was hardly ever played. The proof will be when I actually spin it, but very happy to find this one for 20 cents. So that was that 10 for $2 batch there. And then I have 9 other albums after walking the floor and going vendor to vendor. Pretty happy with what I found. The first being John Coltrane and Johnny Hartman on Impulse. This has been on my want list forever. I absolutely love this album. This is a later pressing. It's on ABC Impulse. So for relatively cheap, I was really excited to see this and pick it up. If nothing else, it's a good placeholder for when I can get my hands for an earlier pressing on the actual Impulse label. Johnny Hartman, for those of you who aren't familiar, he's kind of a jazz crooner and exceptional voice. And this album is fantastic. I just love this album. Next, I think I paid $4 for this, $4 or $5. This is Walter Carlos Sonic Seasonings. I've seen this pop up in the VC a few times. I know Oddbox Topper showed this, and I believe Vinyl Fuzz also showed it. So this is kind of ambient, maybe ambient jazz or ambient classical. I don't know how you really describe it, but Walter Carlos, of course, is well known for Switched on Bach. It's on Columbia. Can you see that? It's a double album, and each side is one of the seasons. So side 1 is spring, side 2 is summer, side 3 is fall, and side 4 is winter. I've been wanting this for a long time. I started to say Walter Carlos, best known for Switched on Bach, but also for soundtrack work for like A Clockwork Orange. I have Tron, the Tron soundtrack. So very into electronics and like Moog synthesizers and sound. So I'm very anxious to get this cleaned up and listen to it. Walter Carlos Sonic Seasonings. Next, Randy Newman, 12 Songs. I probably wouldn't have picked this up if I didn't see last week or 2 weeks ago, Andrew at Tales from the Crake just did this album as his one of his Lost Vinyl Classics. So I was that definitely piqued my interest and got me to pick it up. It's got the original inner here. I don't have any Randy Newman in my collection. This is on Reprise. So, Andrew Tales from the Crate, like I said, did this as one of his Lost Vinyl Classics episodes recently. If you haven't watched that one, go check it out. He does a really good job explaining about the album and talking about it and giving needle drops and such. So definitely worth checking out if you haven't seen it yet. So this was real cheap. I think this was $4. I also picked up a copy of the legendary Christine Perfect album. This is Christine McVie. I just gave this album to Hannah over at the Omaha Introvert as VCLT. But it's a great album. I was aware of it for a while. I've listened to it a bunch of times and was happy to find it at the show for pretty cheap. Although it's got promo cut there. This was her first solo album from, I think it was from 1970, and then this was republished or reissued in 1976. So, of course, Christine McVie from Fleetwood Mac. It's on Sire Records. It's good blues rock, I guess, but it's kind of mellow, but very, very good. Really enjoy it. So happy to find that. And then the remaining 5 are all prog rock. So Gentle Giant, Freehand. Big fan of Gentle Giant. I've never owned this one on vinyl, so I was happy to find it there. LE, the channel LE, Lisa, she just recently showed this one, and I made the comment that I want to find this on vinyl, and was happy I did. Great album by Gentle Giant. One of my favorite prog rock bands. Definitely feel that they're underappreciated. This also has the original insert. And this is on Chrysalis green label. So very happy to find this one. And also, Rhinoceros. I've never owned any Rhinoceros. This cover is kind of beat up. It's got a big split right here. But this was really cheap. And the vinyl is extremely clean. It's on Elektra. So another one that I'm really anxious to get cleaned up and spinning on the turntable. Just love this crazy cover. So I think this is kind of more blues rockish. Yeah, very excited to have this one. Next is Jethro Tull, A Passion Play. Great album by Jethro Tull. And I'm just trying to fill in my missing pieces from my Jethro Tull collection here. So I was happy to find this again on Chrysalis green label, and the vinyl is really, really, really clean. So I can't remember what I paid for this one, but I don't think it was more than $5 or $6. But yeah, happy to have A Passion Play by Jethro Tull. And this was probably one of my finds that I was most excited about. Finch, Glory of the Inner Force. This came out in 1975. It's on Atco Records. It's got the original inner. Atco Records. Vinyl is in amazing condition. Jacket has a little slit there. But this is Dutch progressive rock, and I was not familiar with Finch until a couple months ago. Dan over at Dots and Loops showed this album and was talking about it. I haven't really heard much of their other work, but this album, this is amazing. This is like, if I were to describe it, the band Yes and the band Focus. It's very reminiscent of both of those bands. I showed this on Facebook, and someone made the comment even before I had the thought of Yes and Focus when I was listening to this, but they made the comment on my Facebook post that this is what it would sound like if Yes and Focus had a baby. So, and that's a very, very good description. Definitely reminiscent of both Yes and Focus. And I always thought their logo was very cool, Finch. So, was stoked to find this. And last but not least, I may have overpaid for this one, but that's okay. I've kind of gotten over it. But this is a Genesis Live. Of course, I already have this album, but my copy is starting to get a little snap, crackle, and poppy. This sleeve does have a little issue here. Vinyl is in great shape, but the real reason why I wanted it is for the Charisma pink scroll label here, which I had never seen in person up until this point. So I was kind of blinded by the fact that this had this label, which again, like I said, I may have overpaid. But with seeing that, I knew that the original UK press didn't have that label. So I was intrigued. I picked it up. I think the vinyl is going to be an upgrade to what I currently have. Like I said, my copy's getting a little crackly. But the pink label is a US pressing, and I forget what year. So this album came out in '74. I think it's just the later pressing from that year. They must have did a special press of it in the US. So nonetheless, definitely happy to have it, just to see that pink scroll Charisma label. So that's everything. Thanks for watching. Definitely had a great time at the record show. I had held on to some money I got around my birthday, which let me pick up this stuff. So that was a bonus. So yeah, that's going to do it. I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving holiday for those of you who are in the U.S. that did celebrate. We did here. It was very, very nice. A lot of time with the family. A little hectic, but fun. So thanks for watching. Everyone take care. I'll talk to you again soon. Probably in a day or two. I got some other videos coming out soon. So thanks everyone. I'll talk to you again soon. Take care.